for the times that we've not lived up to your expectations, the times we've sinned against you, the times that we didn't do what we should have been doing, we beg your forgiveness, and we will try to do better with your help. We thank you for bringing us together. We thank you for the opportunity to live in this great country in these unprecedented times that we can make a difference together. Help us to discern the correct thing to do, make the right decisions, to fulfill your will, and help us to all be healthy. Help us to stick up for our children and the people who are less fortunate than we are. And we ask all this through your Son, Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen. Okay, everybody, welcome. Looks like a lot of people didn't get the email or didn't feel like coming because it's summer. But we got to start meeting again like we did before. We'll talk with Ruben, and instead of doing it Mondays, we're going to meet the second Tuesday of every month. It seemed like it was a better time for Ruben. So it'll be 7 o'clock the second Tuesday, and I'll be sending emails all the time. Now, not Tuesday, Thursday. See, you know what? Thursday.
Are we sure Thursday is a good day?
The second Thursday.
Second
The
Thursday?
third Thursday is on Central.
Well, and the other thing too is, you gotta remember, it's every other week. He's got whole prep for, you know what I mean? We'll talk about it.
But anyway, Ruben's the co-chair, and for people that don't know, in order to be a successful organization with the number of people that we got, it can't be done with just one guy, so we got 3 guys. According to titles, you got to have titles with this crap all the time. So you got a title, but we're all equal. So there's a chair, it's me, co-chair Ruben, and vice chair Jay. And we have exactly the same amount of authority, so we can go in different directions and we can do multiple tasks instead of having one guy trying to oversee everything and it don't work. So that's kind of why we set up like that. And there's no more half votes. Everyone voted just to have the committeemen vote. So there's 19 committeemen, and there's 2 committeemen at large. One's Reagan Freitag Patterson, and she's an attorney, and she'll help us out when we need it. She's already helping us out. And Jay Rowley is the other committeeman at large. And both of them, big ass. So with that, that's how we're set up now. So if you have any questions, you can ask me later. The idea is that we got to win elections. So I thought you were waving your hand. So pretty much that's all I have for a chairman report, unless somebody has any questions about what's going on or anything. And I'll see no hands flying out of Jim.
Is anybody in contact with Jim Daly? Right? You are. There was a thing on Facebook where he was talking about like gun buybacks and gun violence and all that stuff. Is there a way to get? Yeah. You talk about this. Who's the guy running for sheriff? Jim Riley. Riley Daly, the Irish guy that's running for sheriff. Do you have contact with him?
I have his contact.
But Jim Riley, you're
Jim
talking
Riley, right?
Yeah, I get it.
It's just some people were concerned about his statement on Facebook about gun
I'll
violence.
call him and straighten him out and tell him that he's got to be a lot more clear because everybody in this town is pro-gun.
Yeah, except he was a lot more clear when he said one of our fundraisers. He made it pretty clear that he doesn't follow the Constitution, he follows the law that is different from the Constitution.
He did?
Remember?
Well, we asked him if he
I
followed
asked
the law
him
or the
to find out.
Constitution. He said, well,
Well, why would I invite him to talk to us?
okay.
That'll solve that problem. But I guarantee you one thing, if he's not pro-Second Amendment, right wing, he won't have any help out of here, at least from us. So, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah,
I thought it was
but there's nobody running against him, right? We can run it.
Mike Kelly.
We don't
Kelly's worse.
All right.
Mike Kelly, he's a Democrat, but he's also did bad things while I was in office, like catch and release. So we don't want any of that stuff here. So I'll find out from Jim, though. I'm gonna have like all these county-wides come and talk. That way everybody gets to meet them.
It was during the whole, you remember the whole mask thing in the beginning when all the parents were fighting?
Yeah.
It was like one of the first fundraisers he was at, probably was a year into the mess. And that's why we had asked him, okay, what if parents were at the school board meetings and they say, you know, they're gonna come in and arrest these parents because they're not complying or whatever. And he's like, well, we have to follow that law. And I'm like, yeah, it's not a law, first of all. And I'm like, it's unconstitutional. He's like, well, that's not what we follow. So we should have him come and talk and clarify.
No, we'll have him come and talk, and everybody can give him a piece of their mind, too.
Great.
Because he's gonna,
Ask tough questions.
let's put it like this, if our group doesn't like somebody, we don't support them. And the other thing is, like, if somebody, which has happened already, when a different politician says something nasty to one of our people for no reason at all, and if you're arguing, that's okay, but if somebody just goes after one of our people, that means they're going after all of us, therefore we want nothing to do with that politician ever again. So, it sounds kind of bad, but that's what happened with Mr. Petkow. You guys don't know. Ruben went to give him a check and he started yelling at Ruben. So, Ruben put the check back in his pocket.
Yeah.
No, went away. So, just know that too, that we're a group, that we all stick together. And if we got a problem, we air it out over here. And if it's something that the whole group needs to be involved with, we have no problem with going ghost on some candidate because it doesn't agree with us. We are conservatives, everybody in this group. So, anyway, moving on from that, we got, Jay, you got a report?
One of the things that we do with the HTRO is getting prepared for elections. Now, we know we have an election coming up in November, and Steve's gonna, win. But we also have our election coming up in '23. Now, everyone in this room, pretty much knows where we stand on the school issue. This is probably one of the most crucial years when it comes to electing school boards. If anybody knows anybody interested in running for school board, please PM me and I will put them in touch with our parent group. We started vetting candidates at our last parent meeting that we have with this little group, and we want to get a strong slate because the HTRO isn't only here for conservatives on a daily basis that may have issues, that have something that they want to talk about. We are here to get conservatives elected. We are here as the Will County representation in Homer Glen for the Republican Party. We have to get slates together and we want to fill spots. Our goal when we go into an election, if there's a spot available, we want one of our candidates in there. School boards especially, and let's really think about it, the last mayoral campaign in Homer Glen went uncontested. We can't have that anymore. Okay, no more uncontested spots. And that's what happens with school boards. We got to get people in. So it's crucial. So if you know anybody that wants to run for school board, in any of the school boards in our area, any of the schools that filter into District 205, just have them private messenger me. I don't know if you guys know me. I'm known as J-Man at Facebook. So that was being facetious. Everyone here knows me. But please have them message me.
What's the time frame on that? When's the election and when do we gotta have the candidates?
The election is in April of '23. We really want to have our slates filled and ready to roll by the end of September.
Do we have to have signatures?
September 20th.
It's when the packets go out.
That's when you have to have the signatures by?
No.
That's when we pull packets.
That's when we'll have to.
And
That's when we start.
normally they're due around Thanksgiving.
They're due around Thanksgiving. We want to have, I think for school board, I thought it was like almost 50 signatures. It was really low.
It's 50?
It's going to be different this year because they lowered it last time because of COVID.
Yeah, I think trustee was 104 and that went down too. Am I correct?
Yeah, everything's gonna be different, so.
So it might be more than 50.
Or it might be less, so
Or
who knows?
Okay.
And they redistricted, so
So,
does that factor into it?
so please, school board guys, just have a PM meeting.
Dan,
Yeah.
your question.
One important thing to keep in mind during the signature period is that we turn our signatures into the right clerk. That this mistake has been made before, so for the village, when we have our signature packets, it goes to the village clerk. The mistake has been made before where they brought it to Will County. Now, for the school board, I'm guessing that goes to Will County. So we have to make sure if somebody in here is gonna run off on their own and run without a slate, that that information is clear as to where those packets go.
Yeah, I mean, eventually we're gonna get to a point where if we can't fill all the slots, then we've gotta take the candidates that we have, and we gotta start sitting down with them, and we wanna go, because some people have never run before. So we wanna, kind of do a couple of, just informational meetings, so they know what to expect and what have you.
Yeah, we're gonna have a campaign 101 with Illinois Opportunity Project, you have Mark Havers. We're gonna get him out, and he'll talk about running, how campaigns work and everything, so everybody understands it. So that'll be in September.
I have a question. We have to turn all of our signatures into our clerk from the village who is also running for mayor?
Yep,
Yes, that's,
just like what we did when we were trustee.
Alrighty then.
Rachel.
So, I'd go with Fuego. Right now, but,
Yeah.
like, I mean,
Well,
just what you said.
our major focus has been 92, 205, and 33C. But we would love, like 91, we would
Okay,
love to
that's
have
where I-
all the schools that filter into
And 33C.
33C, I think we only.
24, correct?
What was that?
33C, they don't go
33
the same year as
spots.
high school, do they?
They're,
I'm saying
no,
they-
no, they're up for election, there's 3 spots up for election.
Every one of the schools are up.
Alternates.
Every school, we've got
It's up for some.
April.
There's a couple.
So they go every other year.
So we've got 3 spots open in 23 for 33C. We've got 3 spots open in
And it can make a different change.
92,
We can
and we've got 3
So
spots
what is our
open.
parents report on that? I thought they were working 205.
Oh, no, we
Feeder
have
schools.
people, we're working on all of them, but we also, at our last parent meeting, we had all the schools
here.
that filter into, we got 16 schools, I think,
Okay, so
that
now we're
filter
looking for-
into 205, and there's spots that they need to be filled. What we did is, not to get too deep into it, what Candy had did for us at the last meeting, we actually put the enrollment down in each school. It's just something to keep in mind. 205 is our high school district, has 3,800 students. We have 3,300 student enrollment alone just in 33C. So what happens is, like, you have half, they only have, like, I think 273 students. So some of the other things that kind of come to mind is that they're their own school district with 270 students. Think of the overhead, they've got a superintendent, they've got a principal, they got a dean of students, you know what I mean? There's a lot of overhead for that. Now, we don't want, again, it's gonna, very, no student left behind, very George Bush, but we gotta really focus on the masses. But it would be the ideal situation, if there's a spot open in the school board that filters into 205, we would love to fill it with someone that we can back at the HTRO. Chances are we won't be able to. Our main focus is the 3 districts, but we would love to do all of them.
Do we have it locked up at 205 and 33C? Do we have?
33C we do not have locked up.
So you
205 is pretty locked
I mean,
up.
how many for 33C?
33C, I believe we need 2 more.
2 more, okay.
Okay, and then we have 92, I only have 1, possibly 2.
Yeah, we're gonna try.
I
to
think it's
fill it.
on 33C, I think.
Okay.
Mike's got it.
Mike?
2-point question. First of all, I got 3 neighbors that I think are viable candidates, very good people. Their problem is the Facebook bashing. There's 2 of them that are really worried about that. So that has to be explained to them. These are really good mothers. Huh? No.
Well,
So I'm gonna.
with that, you know what, like, the only thing I'm gonna say, and aside from everything that everyone's been through, Facebook has been very heated.
Yeah.
Social media is very heated, and it isn't just for our local politics, it's on national stage. They've got to have the desire to make a change because social media is not going to go away.
Right.
So again, I would love to have them if they're great candidates,
Yeah.
but if they're gonna roll over because of social media, then we may not be the group for them.
The best thing to do is maybe I'll get them to come out, maybe they'll get somewhere and sit down with you or whoever.
Okay, that's perfect.
Then my other point is, I was thinking, and I've talked about this before, consolidation of the school districts. I'd love to see if there is a will or a way, but it has to be voted on amongst the residents, and I believe. But if we could combine 91, 92, and 33 into one school district, I mean, there are different, income levels, there's a lot of different dynamics there. If you eliminate 2 superintendents, that makes it, 205 can't.
But like 92 though, that kind of resides a lot more. So then I know the school districts, but they're, you know what, Mike, I'll be honest with you, I'm not saying it's a bad idea, I'm far from it, but just us trying to get people and get them on the school board, that in itself is a huge feat. And then knowing what we need people to do once they get on these boards, and that's the other thing. So I don't think that redistricting really falls into the school board itself, but it's a great point. When I brought up Taft, a lot of overhead for 275
That's what I mean,
students.
they should
Well,
be.
there's something Caparelli Rupp could take care of. She's running for a regional.
I know we talked to her about something like that.
But she's the one that would have to spearhead that, not
Right,
us.
right.
We just gotta do what Jay said.
Yeah, we gotta get,
We gotta get people in and then we can start making changes.
well, we're worried about the students, where they're being taught, and that's.
Oh, no,
Absolutely.
question. Excuse me, there's a woman behind you with a Trump hat. Did you have a question?
No.
Okay. All right. That's my report.
And I told people individually, I forgot to say it a few minutes ago, we are the strongest township in the county per capita. We have the highest weighted vote per capita. We're number 3 in the entire county for weighted votes, and 2 that are ahead of us have almost double the population we do. So that means our group is doing the job, going out and working real hard, and we're making a difference. So we all need to be commended. So we got to just keep it up for the next one. Jennifer, you got a report?
No, pretty much said it when it comes to the per
Carmen,
capita.
you got a treasurer's report before you go to the other one.
Yes, I do. We got $2,034.95 in our account right now.
And we have any committeemen, any of the committeemen here have a report?
Well,
I don't have a report, but is there anybody here that has any questions for me about all of this stuff that's going on?
Yes, I got it. You guys seen a little bit on the email, I think on the Homer patch, or, I was just curious, what is the situation?
Well, right now I haven't been charged with anything, but I mean, if you want to know the story, is that what you're asking?
Yeah, kind of a little bit on
Okay.
this.
Well, basically things started with a heated argument between Christine and I when we were running for trustee. Basically, she tried to get somebody to create a phony Facebook page to divulge village business about me. She did not know that I found out about it, but I did find out about it. And the day that we were elected, she came to our party. And I sat there and I told her, at that day, I am not your friend. I don't know what you think you were doing. I said, people like you do not exist in my world. I am not about drama. I'm not about bullshit. I told her, mind your own
Rosie,
business.
Maybe I just realized, this is
Yep.
recorded. Are you
Yep.
allowed to talk about it?
Oh, no, I'm
Can
not.
this not be recorded? I'm gonna throw it out there. I don't know how anybody else feels, but we're gonna be coming upon
Well, this, I'm
election.
not gonna say anything about what's going, what happened per
Right.
se. All I'm gonna say is this is.
I'm talking about the whole meeting, in
Yeah,
general.
that'd be the last I want to get you in trouble.
No, this is what has led up to this. There have been many things that she has done to me behind the shadows, and when this last incident took place, I had it. I was done, it was inappropriate, and I'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
But this was something that just did not transpire a couple weeks ago. This has been going on for the last year.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Christina, did you want to make a motion to vote on whether we went?
Yes. It makes me super
Would you make the
uncomfortable.
motion? Would you make the motion?
I motion to not have this meeting recorded anymore.
Okay.
do we want to hear from Brad just before we?
Well, let's get a motion on the floor.
I'll
There's a motion
second.
on the floor.
I'll second.
And now we can go into discussion.
Okay, discussion.
Grant?
Is this an open meeting? You have elected officials? The precinct committee men are elected? This falls under the Open Meetings Act.
This isn't a private
Venue.
venue.
The problem is that we're going to talk about strategizing
Yep.
candidates.
Yep.
Are we allowed to have a closed session where it's not? an
Closed
open
session at the end.
We're not talking about policy though, we're talking
We're
about.
not talking about policy, we're not talking about strategy right now.
meeting? Exactly.
Yeah, we can go into exec if we need to, sure.
Yeah, I don't, yes.
Yeah, and anybody can motion to go
You're
into
good with that,
exec.
correct?
Yeah.
I mean, if we're talking about policy, you know, because we're elected officials, that's one thing, but if we're talking about
Yeah,
policy,
only make
that
the
doesn't,
meeting,
that doesn't fall under open meetings, does it?
Most of these meetings won't be about, too much about anything except, well, guest speakers. And when we have policy, we'll do executive session.
So if there's a landowner
Is that
you
the way
want to
the
talk
Carmen-
about it, you can
Carmen-
invite, yeah.
That's the way we do it?
Yeah.
All right. I take the advice of Mr. Carmen, because he's the closest to a lawyer besides me, and I think I'm one, but I know I'm not. So Carmen said if we start to talk about policy, then we'll go to executive session.
Same thing with candidates and.
Yep.
you know,
I don't
talk
want any
about it.
names being brought up about who's running for what.
Or
And so
suggested
it's-
people.
Right, okay, we're all in agreement there.
All right.
Yes, that's it.
So
Yeah, but it would go in exec.
Yeah.
People that are not in an elected official capacity would have to be leave,
Okay.
just so everybody's aware of
So
it.
then
Yep.
Carmen, it does,
So-
it does the motion die.
Do we have to
Yes.
withdraw our motion then?
Motion dies.
Motion.
Guys,
All right.
There's no second.
okay, then I think Mike Nomo, he has a report, he organized the golf outing, and I don't want you to talk too long about the senior expo.
No, we won't
Expo
talk about that, well, that's more.
No, the expo
Yeah,
is-
we'll talk about that.
is not policy.
No.
Just tell everybody the date and
Sure,
what
sure.
it is.
Okay, well, first of all, last year we ran a golf outing. Actually, it was on September 25th or 26th, and had a lot of people come out. And the whole idea is to raise money, okay? It's a golf course that my family owns, so we're able to get a nice little deal on it. We're asking $50 for 9 holes, and we'll provide food as well. And I'll be straight up honest, the golf course is charging us $25 per person, which is, you know, in this day and age, it's a great deal, gas cards and all. So, you know, it's 9 holes, it'll be a couple hours, and you know, everyone knows I'm about camaraderie, people getting together. And you know, I want people to wake up with that problem, call Mike, call Christine, call Rosie, call anybody, you know, and we're all friends here, we're all, you know, I mean, I always say we're all good people. I mean, none of, you know, there was always that one jerk in the crowd or whatever, but I tell you, we got a good group here. I mean, we can trust each other. You know, if I break down on the highway, I can maybe call Carmen or Jay or Steve, they'll come and help me, and vice versa. That doesn't happen in a lot of areas. You know?
So Mike, are we calling this the second annual?
This is the second annual golf outing. How much did we raise last year? Do you remember? It was 4 digits, I know that.
It's over $1,000.
It's been over $1,000. It's like a bleep. I mean, it was nothing. So what we'll do with this one is, you know, we'll do closer to the pin, you know, the longest drive, and do 50-50s on all of us. So you can put maybe $5 in the pot. If you get closest to, you get half that pot. If not, it goes into the HTRO. So,
I have to work on my game this year.
there you go, yeah. But again, it's a nice course. Everyone would agree to play last year. You know, it's a nice, comfortable course.
How about the golf? Does it have a windmill or?
Oh, yeah, you got,
Go
yeah,
with
well,
me.
plenty of cars, I wouldn't
Jay, you
know.
can sit with me in the car.
But, yeah, so.
What is it again?
It's on, well, October 2nd.
Hey, Mike,
And we have a rain date of October, and if it pours rain, which, boy, I'm so used to when I plan things, it's the following weekend, the following week, we'll do it. The reason why we started at a later time is because, again, I don't want to take away from, you know, my family's money there, and so they can get the morning people out of the way, and then we'll have the whole course to ourselves.
Mike, can we have an arrow on the 7th hole or the 4th hole?
The beginning-
Tell
the-
us which way to go.
It's recorded. Yeah.
It's recorded.
No, 2 guys. But no, I hope everyone could come in and spread the word. We want foursomes, so, you know, if Angel and Jim join, try to get 2 other people, maybe 3 or 4 so if we can. So, I got copies to hand out. When it'll be posted on Facebook, Steve's gonna blast it out, and when you guys get it, share it, to get it out there. And I love my text, you can text me, email me, with a response, if you're, if for when you're gonna do it. Good to know ahead of time so we can get the food ready and prepare for it, and everything, and, if anyone wants to donate food, they're more than welcome to, but, we'll do what we can to make the accommodations as easy as possible. And, last but not least, September 10th is the Homer Lifestyle Expo. Something that, I'm taking. Homer Township, yeah, Homer Township Senior Lifestyle Expo, okay? So,
Where's it at?
it's gonna be at Hadley Middle School from 11 to 2 on September 10th. And what I'd be asking people to do, and we're doing, we're blasting out to all the stores, businesses in the area to participate. We're charging only $50 for a booth of 10 by 10. All that money is gonna go towards a Christmas party for the seniors. We're not collecting any money, okay? And I expect a big Christmas party. We're talking about doing it at Taz's. I'm also looking at doing, if we get enough money, I want to do a senior Halloween party. And a little fun. I mean, they might dress up and come and have a good time. And I was thinking senior prom.
Yeah.
Maybe we get the senior prom. I don't know if we can incorporate it in Christmas or whatever.
Yeah. Steve, you need a date for the senior prom.
Yeah, I do.
But again, I hope everyone can help with, I mean, everyone who's participated up to this point has been fantastic. I mean, you can't ask for a better group. When the tea party, those Rosie, I mean, went all out with these teacups. Who went to that? Who was there?
I didn't even hear about it.
Senior tea?
Well, that's before you were on the
Yeah,
committee.
the bingo, I'll do another one.
So,
They
you were there, yeah, you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, the senior
Can you
tea.
do another senior tea? Yeah.
I mean, it was out of this world. I mean, it was like you walked in and you were like in Taj Mahal or something. It was really classy. And then we did do a Christmas party at Blueberry Hill. No, that was Valentine's Day party, I'm sorry. And they were generous enough to give us half off of all the food. And I got donations to pay for the rest from Touch of Green and More Builders. They both gave money to pay for that. So we got the seniors in a good position right now. They love it. And everyone else that went this past Tuesday saw, and we got a good crowd. We have 72, which is our highest amount of people. And we're asking questions, will you go to the Senior Expo? They all raise their hand. Are you going to next month's bingo? They all raise their hand. They're doing senior yoga now. So it's turned out to be a great thing for us. And my goal is to get 100 at bingo. We're at 72. I expect that after the expo, we'll get over 100. We can handle it with the amount of people we're getting now to help out. So a lot of good things happening. Reach out to me if you have any questions or want to help out, or you got on board. We saw what happened on Tuesday, had a lot of fun. So
Mike, tell me, I'll interject. If you want to be part of the senior, but like a volunteer for the seniors, you just can't go there and show up. You got to be voted on by the township board to be on the committee. So if you're wanting to volunteer, let Mike know. Mike brings your name forward to the board.
And I'll take a vote.
Then we vote at our board whether or not to let another person come on. So we have to make sure that we're vetting people because some of the seniors may not like certain things, I guess. So we're just going to leave it with that you must be on the committee to do it. And I know there's a lot of people that are on the committee here already.
Well, we had a situation where I removed Angel from the board 6 times on Tuesday because of her antics and stuff. She keeps coming back though. So
You guys should know there's only one exception to
Thank you,
that.
Mike. You did a good job. Keep up the good work. And now Carmen's going to
Make the exception on there about the children.
Oh, I'm sorry. One thing I want to point out to you, if anyone has children that need volunteer hours, again, submit them in. We'll get the clearance and everything. They will be the only exceptions out of adults that want to participate. And, but everything has to be approved now by the board.
So a kid's looking for community service hours, preferably high school age?
High school, yes.
Okay, and now we're going to have a nice report about taxes. Just what everybody wants to hear, you're getting screwed.
No, what we're going to talk about, let me go into my segue. Thanks, Steve. So what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about Pritzker's tax relief and how he's finagled a way to tell people to give his vote to him because he thinks he's saving us all money, which he is not. We're just shifting the money. I have the privilege to be the assessor here in Homer Township. I really love and enjoy what I do. I was sitting down and having a conversation with my 3 boys over a weekend, having a couple beers, kind of enjoying life, and they were asking me what my job is. And then my oldest asked the question about, well, Dad, what about, J.P. Prisker giving us more money in our exemptions, which is going to go into effect in 2024, which a lot of people don't know yet. But they passed the bill, and it's a public act of 102-895. And what it does is it changes the homestead exemption, giving everybody an extra $2,000 in the coal counties. Well, everybody who doesn't know what a coal county is, everything that surrounds Cook County. Now, why would you want to do that? You ask yourself those questions. And that's one of the questions that came up, and my oldest pointed it out. And I said, well, it's kind of like he's trying to win votes. And he says, well, I don't understand, he's going to save us tax dollars. I said, no, he's not. So to explain that, I pulled out $1. Now, this is not real, but just so everybody knows. And I said, this is our tax levy. Steve Bellich is supervisor of the township. He says, I'm going to levy the entire township for $1. So here's our $1, right? And he says, well, I got to collect this $1. So how does he collect this $1? It goes to our property tax. So I'm going to use you guys for guinea pig. Is that okay? So if we take the $1 and we divide it up to every household that we have, well, we only got 3 right here, but just so you know.
Carmen, don't throw it in there.
No, so we're going to give it part of it to Jen, and we're going to give Jay 2 because he's got a bigger house. And then Steve gets an extra $1 because, he gets a regular $1. And what happens is Steve, let's say Steve has a homestead exemption, so he's going to give his $1 to Jay. So give your $1.
Nice job.
Yeah. And now that Jen has a veteran, and he gets a little more of an exemption, she's going to give her $1 to Jay. And that's how that works. So when we spread the $1 around,
I feel like a lovely man.
Jay gets the burden of the taxes.
What about my wife and kids come and take the $1 away from me?
You don't get it. Steve gets a little bit of a break. Jen gets a little break. They're still paying their taxes on the $1, but they're getting a little bit more of a break. Jay's absorbing all that break. Just like a lot of us in the household income that we have in this area, we're absorbing those taxes, and that's what's happening. It's just a shift of wealth. And he's saying, oh, I'm going to save you money, I'm going to save you money. Well, that's not really the truth. He's actually giving the money, he's spreading the money over a larger vast of people who's going to be paying the bill. And a lot of them are us as taxpayers.
Now, am I understanding this right, that it is just in the collar around Cook County?
Yes.
So
Yes.
Cook County, because they're pretty much broke anyway.
Yes.
They're not getting hit with it. But all of us suburbs
Yeah.
are the ones that are going to be picking up the pieces for the rest of the state.
And as everybody knows, and I have a little diagram here, everybody knows this blue and green represents our high school and 33C, okay? That is 75% of our tax dollar. So for every $1 that we pay in the property tax, 75% of that goes to
75 cents.
Maybe right.
it goes to the school districts.
Yep.
That's why when Jay talks about
CRT.
the school districts being an important part of our community, this is why. I have some great stories. I worked with a lot of people over the years. I actually worked for somebody that worked for 33C. She just started out. She's in there, budget comes around, and they're like, what do you need? She's like, I don't need anything. I got everything I need. No, you need a new stapler. She's like, no, I just started. I got ratings. What do I need? No. If we don't spend the money, we can't get it back.
Oh my God.
So this is the stories that we hear. This is the stories and the lies that we hear to what? To get votes, to steal votes, and that's what really bothered me with the whole situation when Pritzker comes out and says, oh, I got a tax relief for everybody. We're gonna raise the exemptions. But that doesn't really mean that that's gonna help us with our taxes. Because at the bottom end of all this, they may put a multiplier on top of that, because they still have to raise the same amount of money. So that's where I get a little upset, and that's why I kind of wanted to just kind of talk about it today, kind of bring it to light that, this is how they're saying, the Democrats are saying, hey, vote for me, I'm giving you a tax relief. Really, and all they're doing is shifting money.
Hey, Carol, like you said, well, we got to spend it because otherwise we're going to lose it. Because if they didn't spend it, and if I'm understanding this correctly, technically, if they have that money left over, they're supposed to refund it back to the taxpayer.
Yes, they are.
They don't want to refund it back to the taxpayer.
It's too much work.
That's why.
Well, not only that, next year's budget is lower then.
Right.
Right, and so when Jimmy and I went to the financial meeting right after the TRO, we ended up at the financial meeting that Monday at 2:05, and they said they were going in for 7%, because that's the max that they can go in for. Doesn't mean that's what they're gonna get, but they always go in for the max. They probably end up with about 3.5%.
They have a
5%.
They can't go for 5.
So
They
see,
can't go for 5.
they always go for more than what they need. That way they have the fluff. If they want to open up a coffee shop, or if they decide they want to have a meeting off premises somewhere else. Grants.
Who gives them that money?
I was, when they put the lotto in, that money was supposed to go to schools.
Yes,
None of it did.
No.
correct.
When they put the river boats in, that was supposed to go to schools. None of it did.
Well, it
does, but it
really went there, but what they did is they took the money from the boats
They
and
shuffled.
gave it to the schools, and then they cut the money they were giving the schools out of the school budget from the state.
And they
So-
reallocated.
They put one in, they
gave
took
them
one
what they
out.
were supposed to give, but they didn't give them what they should have got from the state. So it ends up being zero. But I'm not sure how this works, so maybe Carmen can explain it. If you raise the thing at 5% every year, and then so now if you got $100 and then you raise it 5%, and then the next year you raise it 5% again, because that's what they do. So after a while, isn't that like compounding the interest? So a 5% increase over time might really only not be 5, might be like 7, 8, 9, 10. Is that correct?
Yeah, over time, yeah.
You know, anybody that owns a small business, I can assure you, if you ran your small business this way, you'd be out of business.
Yep.
Okay, so the school district, every year they want to go to the max for the levy. Okay, so who gives them that money?
It isn't.
These dollars.
Our property
Who
taxes.
approves it, you mean?
The property tax?
Your property taxes give you
So
that
they'll
money.
increase your property taxes.
Right.
To fit the levy that the schools
Right.
end up gonna get. They go for 7%, they may only end up or be able to justify that 3.5 to 5%. Routinely, they get the 5. And then we get levied as homeowners and residents for that additional 5%.
So I think they could,
If they can't go over 5,
They
right?
could raise the taxes 5% without a referendum.
Right. Once they go to referendum,
Yes.
they can
So
raise it.
every year, they could raise it 5%.
Yes.
And they don't need our permission or anything else.
Without, and about the justification on that, what did the school districts have to come?
They said they had to rehab the auditorium.
But they don't even have to go to referendum, because the library raised their levy an outrageous number, and I don't remember what it was, by a vote of the board. Then they got to go to a tax hearing. So they have to publish in the newspaper that they're going over the 5% cap. And then the board just votes for it, and then they get it. So that's what the library did one year. And I don't remember what it was, but it was like a way over 5%.
When we were there at the financial meeting for 205, the big thing that they were focusing on was renovating the auditorium. All of the new sound equipment, all the acoustics that they wanted, and that was, they were really pushing it at the financial meeting because that was going to justify, from what I understood, you got to read between the lines with this stuff. A lot of it's word salad, guys, and it just, you know, I'm a active school board meeting partaker for about a year now. So you got to really read between the lines as to what they're saying at these meetings.
Yeah, because they gaslight stuff. They're saying, oh, we really, 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 really need it.
Right.
They really, really, really need it.
And, you know, Jim and I, and actually Angel had come into the meeting at the time, it was just the three of us
Here's
there.
your wife.
No, Carol wasn't there at that meeting, but the three of us were there. But the three of us were there, and they were really focusing on what they needed to do and the money they needed to spend.
Because they weren't only asking for 5%, they were asking for 7%.
Yeah.
They only get 5%.
Anything over 5% would have to go to referendum, and everything.
I mean, we've all seen it in our own town. We've seen it in our own town. We gotta raise the levy, we gotta raise the levy. We're not gonna be able to pay for our public works, we're not gonna pay for our public works.
And they
Right?
lie.
not gonna pay for our public works, and then all of a sudden, we don't raise the levy, and all of a sudden,
We have $5 million
we're $1 surplus, so, sorry.
This is just out of ignorance here, just wondering. Let's say they raise it 5%, can the school board shut that down? The school board has to vote on that.
Yeah, they can vote.
Yeah, they have to increase the levy, they have to do, they're the final approval.
That's all.
So there doesn't have to be a referendum, but to the citizens, the
Yes.
school board.
They can shut it down.
Ultimately, the treasurer and the financial advisor of the school district, like we were there at the meeting, they discuss on what they want to go for. They agree on what percentage they're going to go for. She'll, I'm going to say, I say she because it was a woman that's in charge. And then that goes before the school board. And then the school board decides if they're going to.
They
The
encourage.
problem is the school board say yes, whatever they're
The
told
school
by.
board is our oversight.
Right.
For that 75%.
Yep.
tax
Why we
burden
need
that we
to-
don't.
Correct.
Why
In
would you
June
let
2020.
And the question I have all the time is, during COVID, they taught on a computer. Now a lot of, I don't know what the number is, because we have, maybe Jay might, but I know when you listen to the stats about schools, all these schools have way less kids than before, because they're going to private schools, because the parents don't want to send their kids to the scumbag schools that they've got around here and everywhere else. So, what's happening there? Are they going to cut their stuff? No. They're going to say they still have the same amount of maintenance, the same amount of everything. So it's up to the school board to have the courage to tell the superintendent and the finance director that we're not going to accept that. The answer is no. No raises, no nothing, trim it down. Because I just heard on the radio this morning that there's one school up north that got half the kids back in the high school. That's it, half the kids. So they didn't talk about the taxes, but if you got half the kids, why do you deserve to get the same amount of, any kind of raise?
So that's the second part of my question, is directed towards Carmen. I know you know about this stuff. They have to, the school has to present this information to the school board. They absolutely have to have a appropriated budget to the school board, right? And do they just?
So usually a levy is set before a budget's in place. So a lot of times you'll see a levy usually going in like the months of November, December, so they can place their levies in. And a lot of times it's all speculation. You're kind of speculating what's going to happen going into the future. Are we going to make enough revenue? What's our going to expenses be? They're usually doing forecasting and budgeting to understand that, those numbers, to come in there educatedly and talking to, whether it's your board members and stuff, to say, hey, this is the levy we got to push this levy. We need this money. And they'll sell it. They'll try to sell it. Until somebody's smart enough to say, whoa, wait a minute. And Mr. Dan Fialco is a great example of that. Well, I don't understand where this numbers coming from, and I'm not sure why you think you need this much money. And then when questions are asked like that, people get a little frustrated, and then you're going into the board meeting, and then now you're understanding a lot more than you did before, and you're saying, wait, we don't need an extra $3 million.
So that's where I was going with
Yeah.
it. Like, it doesn't look like.
Right.
Does it look like a business financial spreadsheet that's 6.5 feet long, where the average citizen sitting on a school board looks and says, whoa, man.
Yeah,
what-
exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly, even look at it, they just.
And you want to
It's
rely.
like a Chinese scroll that hits the floor.
You want to rely on your financial advisors and stuff that are actually presenting this stuff, but if you're not questioning it, you don't know what you don't know. You know what I mean? So if you're questioning it and you don't know what it is, at least you're going to find out as you're moving through the process, and that's where the education comes in.
So that's kind of why
Yeah.
I don't mean to take so long.
No, that's
To
fine.
Steve's point, I mean, the burden is going down. But
Right.
they're not going to present that. It's in that sheet somewhere, or it's in that presentation somewhere, but they're not going to point that out.
No,
No way.
you have to dig for it.
Right, you have to find it.
Yes.
Or you
At
have
the
to have
county,
people look at it.
I'm on the county board, and at the county, the Democrats are in control, and they feel like you should tax to the max. And so I don't even go to the budget meetings, because I thought, why should I waste my time to go to a budget meeting when I'm gonna vote no to the budget? I don't even need to go. I already know I'm voting no before I sit down to vote no. Because I'm not gonna vote for a tax increase. And so, until the Republicans take over again and don't do that, I just vote no. I already know what I'm voting this year, I'm voting no.
You know, Jen had something to add, Jen.
No, it was earlier, but in 2020, across the board, all the school districts voted 3 to 5% increase on the tax levy. And we had Shoppy at one of our meetings, it was a June 2020 meeting, and he carried out about, oh, we have all these studies, and each study cost thousands and thousands of dollars. And I think there were 3 different ones that were coming up when you were talking about population, you know, the overcrowding, and then he also, but he had just passed, remember? He had passed an increase for the administration, it was a 3% increase for all, it was for payroll, it wasn't for anything that he was telling us. And then again, I watched them do it again for 2021, where again, all the school, even though these kids weren't going to school, they weren't attending class, a lot of them suffered, they still pushed in these 3 to 5% increases. And I've been saying this for the past couple of years. It's not me just on a soapbox. 74 to 75% of our taxes go to these school districts. And so that's why we really need to be pushing people to be more accountable about these school boards, because this is the heart of your taxes. It's 3/4 of your property tax. And then for those of us that have children, or those of us that care about the children that don't belong to us, you know, we have to fight. This is very important. I commend Jay, I commend the Shakes, I commend Karen, and I commend Chrissy and her husband Mike for doing and fighting this battle for the past 2 years and getting it out there to the forefront, because people don't realize and they don't believe what's going on in the schools. So this election, like Jay said, is very, very important for us to start taking back these seats. And if you know somebody who has thick skin, they don't have to be polished, but they have to be somebody who has thick skin, because yes, they are going to get beat up in social media.
We'll get attacked on the board too.
Yes. And this is what we have to start doing. And there are people like us.
And some of these boards that we have positions open for, if, let's say, our massive red wave in Illinois really does happen, which I think we have a very good shot, some of these boards, that will, if our people get in, they will be the controlling interest on these boards.
You know, and what I said earlier about the weighted votes and about our group, just think of this. Every single person we endorsed in the primary won except for Renata, my partner. But he wasn't able to go out and campaign at night because he worked. So, you know, I get it why he didn't win. But everybody else did. So now when we go out and we support people, that should be where they understand that they're going to get a big push to win. So we just got, Jay's got a hard job, or I don't know who's doing all the betting, if it's your group or
It's our group.
MC's
We
group.
have a bunch of
Team
people.
up, we're all doing
But
it.
we're all
It's a team
together.
effort.
Yeah.
Without a team, you
The
got
most
to.
important thing is you get somebody that has the willingness to say no and not be afraid, because the whole rest of the board gets along with the superintendent. And like that high school guy, you know how mad I got when I found out they got a coffee shop and they charged the kids, so the parents got to give the kids money for
$5.
coffee besides the stupid tax you got to pay that place,
Well-
and they learn all that crap there.
Well, a lot of what had happened, and what Steve's referring to, and you guys may or may not know, and I'm going to say this because Grant is filming. The past 2 years, they have closed down the cafeteria at the high school, okay? The high school cafeteria prior to COVID, it met all of the Food and Drug Administration standards as to what needed to be available for the students to eat at lunch. Well, when they closed it down due to COVID, they went to boxed lunches that came from, was it Quest, I think?
Yeah, I think it's
And they're the #1 food supplier for our jail system as well, just so you know where we're going with this. And those lunches that the school district had chosen do not even meet the the FDA nutrition standards. And actually, Brent Profilio did all the research on this, so if you guys really want more info on it, he's the guy to speak to. But they didn't even meet that criteria. But here's the kicker. They built a coffee shop. They couldn't serve the kids regular nutritious food, but they were able to sell them coffee, nicotine, and these kids are under 18 years of age. So that was okay.
Caffeine.
Oh, I said, I'm sorry, oh my God. Caffeine, my apology. But they were able to give these kids, yeah, special coffee. They were able to get these kids caffeine and coffee, but yet they couldn't give them a nutritious meal. So what was the difference? You still have somebody prepping it, okay? Now, the real kick in the pants was, they still budget for a full cafeteria and their staff.
Yeah.
They got the lunches for free from the government. So where did that money go? And why are we still putting in a 5% levy?
What's the staff doing?
And right, exactly.
These are all
Staff
questions.
had a different meal.
These are all
Staff had a
questions.
different, a catering company.
Angel, do you have a question that you
Well,
want
I
to
just want to make sure that this is, so everybody knows, the new, he hasn't been in too long, but it is the financial superintendent for 33C, has been putting things out, and laying them out very well and making it easy for people to read. So if you start paying attention, you'll see, like, he doesn't make it like, things that normal people aren't going to catch. The other thing is, I think somebody was asking about the percentage, how many left the school system. I think they said they lost like 8%, 6% the first year, 8% the second year, and they said 6% of the 8% from this past year were being homeschooled, and the other 2% were in private schools. That was the last number I heard, so.
I'm sure
I
it's
mean,
gonna be even
it's
bigger.
probably higher, right, so if those are the numbers we're hearing, it's probably almost double.
So with all that being said, the focus is, and we take away from the money and everything else, you see what's going on in our country. There isn't one thing that we are shooting for these school boards that is really political. And what I'm going to say is that if you're a Democrat, the same things that we're fighting for as conservatives for these kids, you should be for as well.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? It shouldn't be a political thing. Having these kids learn the Constitution, having these kids be upstanding Americans that love their country. And there's a whole different mindset coming in right now, and the ideology that's being pushed, so, the woke narrative, it really is just out of control. They are pushing social issues in the school atmosphere that do not need to be pushed. That is between that student's parents, and if that student's having a problem, that's why we have counselors in the event that that needs to happen. But we do not need to make every social issue that's out there in the curriculum. And anybody should be for that. I don't care if you're a Democrat, Republican, Libertarian.
That's right.
But the world is changing, and it's not changing by the masses. You have, like Jimmy says, the short mod. Because we have a digital format and we have social media, they have this bullhorn that makes them look like they are so much bigger than they really are.
Yep.
Okay? So, but they're running with it because so many people are silent. You're right. If
Yeah.
you've got people that want to run for school board, like my wife says, it's time to put on your big girl or your big boy pants. Because this is our country. The children are our future.
There's no gray area.
That's why we ended up like this.
Right, no more gray area.
You guys weren't born yet, but I was there. Nikita Khrushchev, you might have been around. Nikita Khrushchev said that he's going to conquer the United States with communism without a shot being fired. And then he listed how he was going to do it. The top thing was take over the schools, infiltrate the schools.
And infiltrate one of the political parties.
And the media.
Or both.
Yeah, that's what's happening.
Speaking of, can I know, I just got word on who was either picked. Can I say who it is?
Yeah.
Okay, so his first chair is the guy who was the announcer at the committeeman thing.
Joe Kroll?
Yes. He's his first vice, and his second is Ruben.
Ruben's second vice chair?
Yeah, and
Ruben?
Jean Kelly is his treasurer. She is from DuPage County.
She works for Homer Assessment.
Gene Kelly.
Jean Kelly?
Oh, yeah, she's a Homer group.
Okay.
She's out of DuPage, but
She's a Bolingbrook trustee also.
Okay, she was picked for as trustee.
Well, that's good because she's a very honest person.
Okay,
She's real friendly with us.
okay,
So that's all they need?
that's it. Is that his wife? It shouldn't be more.
Any secretary? No secretary?
So far, this is all I got so far. It's happening
Well,
right
Raquel
now.
Mitchell won secretary at the thing.
Oh, did she? Okay.
Chrissy,
Oh, yeah.
can you repeat it again?
His first chair is Joe Kroll. Kroll, K-R-A-L.
Frankfurt assessor.
Okay, and then his second is Ruben,
Okay.
and his treasurer is Jean Kelly.
Jean?
You can't get any more honest than Jean.
Okay, and we got Ruben.
I'm Ruben too, yeah.
Okay. So congrats, Ruben.
Good.
4 minutes.
Okay. Now, it's time, the Sergeant at Arms says 1 minute, so I want to thank everybody for coming. And
Be short, Nick.
I'll send out more emails next time so we get more people.
That's why you keep the mat to me, right?
God bless you guys.
I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
First.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.